Hello again and welcome to another watch video. This time we'll show you how to set up and use a Casio Bluetooth watch. The model number is EQB 500 and it's part of their Edifice line, which is a bit more elegant than, and better made than regular Casio watches. The fun thing about this watch or this model is that it has Bluetooth and it can connect to your phone, but it's not a classic smartwatch like the ones that are currently in the market. And I like that about it. Why? Because the current smartwatches are more a nuisance than a useful thing, at least to me. Their batteries last a couple of days, 1 or 2 days, and then to me it's just another gadget that you need to take care of. Casio's idea with these watches was not to make a smartwatch, but to make a conventional watch improved by smart technology. So over here you have a regular watch that you can wear every day without worrying about the battery because it's solar powered and it's 100 meters water resistant. So you have a classic sport watch, but the Bluetooth or smart technology is used to make it more user friendly and to improve on its existing functions. When it comes to the watch, it's pretty big, and from tip to tip it's 52 millimeters, and the width is 8 millimeters, and it's quite heavy at 199 grams. So it's pretty bulky for a watch, but I tried it on my wrist, which is 6.7, and the lugs are within my wrist reach, and it actually looks okay. I mean, it is big, but it is wearable. So now the functions that this watch has are world time function, a stopwatch function, and an alarm function. The world time is used as the main screen because, as you can see, it has two displays. So you have the main display and you have this smaller display. And if you notice, each of these displays has its own 24-hour or AM/PM indicator. The main display one is here. It's covered by with the hands currently, but it's here, and the small one for the other secondary time zone is here. In order to fully use all the functions of this watch, you have to use it together with your phone. I mean, you can use it as a conventional watch without ever connecting to a phone, but you'll be missing out a lot. So now we'll show you how to set up the watch, how to set up the app first on your phone. And the phones supported are Android phones and iPhones. So whichever platform you have, the app is gonna support it. So let's move on to the app part. So if I'm using an Android phone, so you just go to Play Store, and in the search bar, type in Casio. There, it's already offered because I used it. And you want to download this Casio Watch Plus. Press install, accept, and we'll just wait for it to install. Okay, so once you've installed the app, you run it, and if you don't have a Bluetooth on, it will ask you to turn it on. If you have it like I do, it will skip that step. Now it asks you to select the line of the watches. We have Edifice and the model number, which is written in the back. We have the EQB 500, so we select that. Now it asks you to press the Bluetooth button, which is where mode buttons are usually located on other Casio watches. You press and, oh, sorry, you close the crown. I had the crown open. So you press and hold, and the watch will try to connect to your phone. And now it says register to the app, and it will try to connect with each other. There. As you can see, this took some time, but it is only because this was the first pairing. Once you do it, this step once, every other connection will be much faster. Okay, so as you can see, the watch is mirrored on your phone. But for now, we're going to leave the app and exit out. Okay, so how do you set up this watch? I want to show you first the manual and then the app part, because I want to show you the difference on how easy it is on the app compared to this. So in order for you to set up the watch, you need to unscrew the crown since it's a screw down, and you need to pull it to the second click. Once you've done that, the watch enters the setting mode where it currently is setting up the hours and minutes, and you set them up by twisting the crown, and it goes in 1 minute increments. If you need more, you just twist it a bit more and it's going to start speed scrolling. If that's not enough, you can do it again, and now it's going even faster. The other way around, it works the same, but while speed scrolling backwards, it can only do it in one speed. It doesn't have the very high speed. So now we'll set up the time wrong on purpose, just so you can see how well it corrects itself. Okay, so now once you've set up the time, the hours and minutes, pressing the mode button moves to the setting of date and month. And the date is changed by twisting the crown, but I won't do it because it takes up 1 to 3 minutes for it to change the date, because it's geared with this little hand and it really takes a long time. So I won't be doing it. But just so you know, by twisting the crown, you change the dates, and by pressing this button, you change the months. The months are indicated by hour markers, so 12 is December, 1 is January, 2 is February, March, April, and so on. So let's press it and move to, let's say, May. Okay, and now since this watch is a perpetual calendar watch, you need to set up the year as well. And it's done in 2 ways. The first, not in 2 ways, but in 2 steps. Once you press the mode button again, it moves to the 10th of year setting. So as you can see, it's now on 1 because it's 2017. So this covers years from 2010 to 2019. If you need 2020 to 2029, you're going to move it to the 2. And you move it by twisting the crown. So this is 2020 to 2029. This is 2030 to 2039. So let's set up to 2035, let's say. You do it by pressing the adjust button again, and now you're setting up the ones of the year. Since it's 2017, it's put to the 7. But we'll put it to 5 because we said we were going to put it to 2035. Okay, so this is now 2035. And it's April and everything's wrong. Okay, before... You don't want to close the crown just yet. You want to go back to time setting, because now you can sync the watch with the atomic clock. Once it reaches the 0, you close the crown and the watch starts counting the seconds and starts running from there. And the function hand shows the day of the week. It says Wednesday, which is not correct. It's Thursday today. Okay, so now once you've seen just how difficult it is for you to set up the watch manually, I want to show you the high contrast of how easy it is to connect it to correct the time by connecting to the phone. Okay, so you don't need to have the app running, but you need to have the Bluetooth on. And many people today have Bluetooth turned on constantly because they have hands-free systems and in-car phones, so that's why it's not a big deal. So let's say we have the Bluetooth on. And in order for you to set up the correct time, you really need to press only one button and wait for about 5 seconds. So you press the Bluetooth button, and that's it. Now you have to wait 5 to 10 seconds for the watch to connect and to correct itself. Once it already connected and it received the information about the correct time. The watch will now correct itself. It will correct the year, the month, the dates, and the day. And that's it. So it really cannot be any simpler than that. Also, no matter what you do with the app or what you're setting up through the app, every time when you connect this watch to the phone, it will update its time setting. So it will always be correct whenever you connect it. This was the on-demand reception of time. But the watch also has an option of setting up the automatic reception. What that means? That means that in the app you can select a predetermined time when you know the watch and phone will be close to each other. Let's say in the middle of the night, and you select it in the app, and in the middle of the night at the predetermined time, the watch will connect to the phone and update its time. So it's just like a radio controlled watch, but it uses your phone instead of the atomic clock. Okay, so another setting in this mode is the world time setting. The world time setting is on this small this small screen, and you do it by pulling the crown to the first click, and twisting the crown moves in 15-minute increments. And you also have this little AM PM, so you know what you're setting up. And it also has the speed scrolling, just like the main time, and it also has two speeds of speed scrolling. Backwards it also has only one. And that's it when it comes to manually setting up these two. We'll close the crown, and now I want to show you the same setting on the phone of the world time and this automatic that I just spoke of. So we'll fire up the app, and we'll connect the watch, and you will see that the connections now are much faster than the first time when they needed to pair. So the connection is already completed. Okay, so once in here, you go to the settings and watch settings, and here you set up this time adjustment, which I spoke of. So this watch is set up to update itself automatically at 7:56, or let's say you want it at 2 a.m. just like radio controlled watches. You can put it at 2 a.m. and click send settings to the watch, and it will update this information to the watch. Okay, another thing that you noticed here is the connection time. You can set up 3, 5, or 10 minutes for the watch to disconnect itself once you connect it. So once you press the Bluetooth button and you connect the watch, you don't have to touch it, it will disconnect by itself. But if you want, pressing the Bluetooth button will disconnect again. Okay, so what I wanted to show you is the world time used here. So once you go into the world time, you have these pre-selected time zones, which you can press as favorites, and whichever cities you mark as favorites, they will remain on this screen, so you can just single tab them without going into the search bar. And let's say we'll put the time zone at London and send settings to the watch. And now there are two cool ways of updating the world time. One is through the search bar, and as you probably know, most Casio watches have 31 time zones and 48 cities, which is a lot. But when you go into the search bar of this watch, check this out. You have 300 cities, and you can search cities alphabetically, or you just type in the city that you want. Let's say Zagreb, Croatia, and once you select that, you click send setting to the watch, and the watch will update the time itself. Another great way to do the world time is, as you can see, once it loads up the map, we'll just wait for a second. You can pinch the map and move it around and select there. You can zoom in, zoom out, select any watch, any city you want. Once you select it, you just click it and click send setting to the watch, and the watch will update the time. As you can see, it's already scrolling. So that's pretty cool. We'll close the app for now. And that's when it comes to the time setting and the world time setting. We'll disconnect manually. Okay, another cool thing that you can do while in this mode is you have the time swap function. What that means is that in world time, if you're traveling from one destination to another and you arrive at that destination, let's say via phone or via plane or something, once you land, you want the local time to be your main time and your main time to go back to the small time. You just press and hold this for 4 seconds with the crown closed, and they will swap the time zones. As you can see now, the main time has moved to the small screen, and the local time has moved to the main screen, because now you're there. It's more practical to use it that way. Once you land back, you press and hold, and it will switch back. Okay, so Another great feature that this watch has is it's all connected to the Bluetooth, is the find the phone feature. So let's say you misplaced your phone in the house somewhere, which I happen to do a lot, and I usually have to ask my wife to call me. But with this watch, as long as you have the Bluetooth on the phone, pressing this will activate the Find Me function, and as you can hear, my phone just started ringing. You can set up the intensity of the ring, so even if your phone is on silent, which mine is, it will still ring at the tone that you selected. You stop the ring by clicking OK on the phone, or clicking any button on the watch. So this is also a cool feature. And one more feature that you need to know about this watch when it comes to main functions is when you're flying with a plane, and sometimes airline companies have rules that you need to turn off all your electronic equipment that emits radio waves. This watch has an airplane mode, which is indicated by this small airplane here. So let's say you're on a plane, you just press and hold this for more than 4 seconds. So as you can see, it will go 1 beep, 2 beeps, and this long beep means that it will go into the airplane mode. The function hand will move to this airplane, and the Bluetooth will be disabled. Even if you try to connect it to the phone, it won't work. And you exit that mode the same way. You press and hold this for more than 4 seconds. There. Now we've exited the plane mode. Okay, so next function that this watch has is the stopwatch, but we'll skip that and go back to that later because it's awesome. We'll just go to the alarm. While going through the modes with the mode button, the function hand will show you the day in the main time. When you're in the chronograph, it will show the 0 because it has a speed indicator, and when you're in the alarm, it will show the AL, or the alarm. So let's say now we're in the alarm function. The main time is still going to display the time, while the small screen here is going to display the alarm setting. And you set up the alarm by pulling the crown to the first click, not second, but first click, and you move the hands in 1 minute increments, or if you want to speed scroll, or even faster. And that's it. Once you close the crown, the alarm, once you start to setting up the alarm is turned on automatically. You can turn it on and off by pressing this button, and is indicated by the seconds hand. As you can see, it's now it's on, now it's off, now it's on, now it's off. This is how you set up the alarm manually, and you can set it up in the app by simply scrolling. We'll show it. Just like when you set up the alarm of your phone. We'll just wait for a second. Okay, so once you're in here, wait for it to update. You go to the alarm. You can select on or off. Daily is on, off is off, and you click this and you scroll to the time that you want. Let's say 10 a.m. And once you press OK and press send setting to the watch, the alarm will start spinning right away, as you can see, and it's updating itself. And that's it when it comes to the alarm. As you can see, it's spinning, and it's going to stop at 10 a.m. That's about it when it comes to the alarm. Now we'll move to the stopwatch. Let's just disconnect. So as you can see, when you go back to world time or home time, it does 2 beeps. So this means that you're back home. Also, if in any mode you are, pressing this for 2 seconds will take you back to home time. Okay, so now let's move to the chronograph function, which is really, really awesome. And why, I'll show you in a second. Okay, once you're in the chronograph function, the normal time is still visible because the big hands are showing you the current time. And the chronograph is using this small display to display the hours and minutes, and the seconds hand is used to display the seconds. And also this is a 24-hour chronograph, because it uses the AM and PM indicator to indicate below 12 and after 12 hours have passed. And another cool feature that it has is the speed calculation. So let's say if you're going on a road trip or on a trip with a bike, or if you're circuit racing or rally racing, once you start the stopwatch and once you stop it, it will display the average speed. Okay, so while you're using it like this, the stopwatch is not really that impressive. You press the start and it starts going. And seconds hand, as you can see, is measuring up down to 1 second and is going up to 24 hours. It also has split times, so you can stop it and it shows you the average speed, and you can resume it. Then you can resume it again, let's say. And this is how it looks like this. But actually, and this is the cool part, is because this watch is used by Red Bull Racing, or should I say Casio is their sponsor, what I'm doing right now, I'm not just doing the split times, but let's say that I'm doing lap times. And believe it or not, although this is not displayed anywhere, this watch has 100 lap memory or 100 split time memory built in itself, and it's measuring down to 1/1000th of a second internally, but it cannot display it like this. So let's say we did, I don't know how many laps, and now we're gonna press the stop button. Okay, so this was our first session, which was, let's say, a rally stage where we did stages 1 to 10 or something like that, and now we reset it. Okay, so this is done. Let's do another stage. Let's say we're doing circuit racing. So we start and we're going to do laps that are 4 seconds or 5 seconds. So first lap done, you press the lower button. Second lap done, you press the lower button. Third lap done, you press the lower button. And now once you pass the finish line for the last time, you press the stop, and that's it. Okay, so we just did 2 sessions of measurements, and as you can see over here, you can't really read that much information about it. You saw this hand showing the average speed and everything, but it wasn't really that impressive. Okay, so now I'll just turn on the app and we'll turn on the Bluetooth, and now the beauty comes in. This stopwatch, like I said, is actually one of the best that Casio makes it, but it has to work in conjunction with your phone. So we'll just wait for it to connect completely. Okay, so now when you go into the stopwatch, as you can see, you have this distance setting. So here you can put the distance that your road trip is gonna be, so that once you complete the measurement, it will tell you exactly the average speed of your trip. And you can put in any number you want, and you can choose whether it's going to be miles or kilometers. But another great thing is that because, like I said, Red Bull Edifice or Casio is the sponsor of Red Bull Racing, if you're, let's say, a guy who goes to track days or something, pressing this circuit button will show you distances, or it will show you that in the memory there are many world-renowned racing circuits already built in. So you select whichever one you want. Let's say you're going to the Nürburgring, you select this one, and it will put in the distance. So now, and you send settings to the watch, and now whenever you do a measurement, it will calculate the average speed of the Nürburgring for each lap and everything. Okay, so like I said, we did those 2 measurements, and they're in the watch, but the watch cannot display them as detailed as the phone. So now it's time for us to get to that data. You go to the main menu and you go to the data box, and there you have this button, data transfer. Once you press that, the phone will transfer the data from the watch to the phone, and then you're gonna see just how detailed this is. So this is the session that we did. You press it and check this out. Now those laps that we did, the watch actually measured to 1/1000th of a second, and it measured 4 laps. Like we said, we're gonna do them up to, I don't know, 4 something seconds. So as you can see, they're listed by laps 1, 2, 3, 4. You have the total time that it took it. It tells you the distance because we put the Nürburgring. It tells you the speed, but since the distance is so large and the time is so low, the speed is beyond 999.99 kilometers per hour. And also it displays the best lap as a crown and the worst or slowest lap like a little turtle. And one more thing, you can have these sorted by their like lap 1, lap 2, lap 3, lap 4, or if you press by time, it will now sort them from the fastest to the slowest lap. Now you can also change the name, so you can, let's say I don't know, track day this and this date at this and this at this and this track, or you can share your results. So it's a pretty cool stopwatch, you have to admit it. And also here you can clear the data from the phone and from the watch. Okay, so we just explained the stopwatch, and you have to admit that it's one of the best, at least one of the best that I've seen. Okay, so the last thing that we need to do is to show you my favorite, and that is the function of setting up the hands. So if any of the hands is misaligned, you need to tell the watch where their position is. And in order for you to do that, you can do it manually or you can do it via phone. To do it manually, you have to pull the crown to the first click while you're in. Well, I always forget to disconnect. So we disconnect and we'll move to the main time. So like I said, once you're in the main time, you pull the crown to the first click and you press the lower right button for 5 seconds. The watch will beep, and now as you can see, the first thing that you're setting up is the small screen where you set up the hours, the minutes, and the little PM, AM. And now you do it by turning the crown, as you can see, and you're setting up the 0 position of the hands. They all have to point at 12, and this small hand, the function hand, has to point at 0. So this is okay, and now by pressing the mode button, you go to the next setting. In this case, it's the function hand, and it has to be at 0. Again, you can move it, and it has a really delicate motion. And the next one is this. It's also going to get to the 12 o'clock position, and then you set it up. But we won't wait, so we'll just, and pressing this again will move you to the date function, but like I said, it's really slow, so we won't do it. So let's just close the crown, and as you can see, you've completed the hand alignment. But like if you saw the big ones, we had to wait for them to turn all the way to the 24 hours, and I stopped it before it completed because the wait was way too long. That's why you have the hand alignment via the phone as well, and it's much better than this one. Why? Because the hands don't need to go to their reference position, but the watch determines the next full hour as the reference position, and then you just set it up like that. So the phone will picture the hands as they should be, and you just replicate that on the watch, so it doesn't have to be the perfect 12 or 0. So we'll show that in a second. Just wait for the watch to get. Okay, so the watch is completed. I'll fire up the app again. We'll press the Bluetooth button to connect the watch, and once it connects, okay, there, as you can see, it already displays the hands here as they are. So now you go to the main menu and you go to watch settings, and here you have adjusting home position. and check it out. And now if you have a doubt that any of the hands is misaligned, you just click that hand, let's say this one, and the watch is gonna go to the next full hour, which is pretty close. So as you can see, it's already set up for the align, and now you align it by pressing this button here and press send setting to the watch, and the alignment is completed. So it's really cool and really fast. You press these if you want the small hands, let's say the number 5, they're pretty close to the 12, so now it's going to move them to the 12. Once it's completed, you also move it by pressing these arrows left and right, and then send setting to the watch, or if you don't want, if you're done, just press done, and that's it. So it's pretty cool. Also here, like I said, you can set the disconnection time, and when we go back over here, you have the phone finder settings, which is what I said, as you can put the volume of how loud the phone is going to ring when you click. So this is pretty loud, and regardless of what your phone is set up for, once the watch tries to find it, it will ring at the level that you selected here. Anyways, that's it when it comes to this watch. I hope you liked the video, and it was really a lot, so bear with me. Also, one more thing to note is that, as you can see, I was always connecting, disconnecting. You don't have to do that. You can connect the watch to the app and do all your settings at once. The time zone, the alarm, the stopwatch, distance, everything. And once you're done, and you send the settings to the watch, and you exit the app, the watch will update all these settings at once. It may not display it, because let's say in the world time, it will display the world time. But if you change the alarm setting, they will be changed. But once you go to the alarm, then it's gonna display these changes. So any changes that you want to do to the watch, you can do it only once for all the things. And once you upload them to the watch, it's gonna be there. So like I said, this is an incredible piece of technology, because to me, it's taking a conventional watch and improving it, and not making a smartwatch is like taking a phone and then disabling it to put it on the wrist, while this is going the right way, because here technology is used to simplify things and to make functions even better. Well, that's about it, and thank you for watching.